Hope everybody is doing well, getting ready for a very special new year and getting ready for the year 2026. I know a lot of folks celebrated Christmas, and all along those lines, I went up there on up to Rocky Mount on Christmas Day, spent it with my mom, had some good Christmas food, watched a lot of sports, some football and some basketball, and also it was a small crowd. It was me, mom, my brother, since my nephews at the time were at their mother's house, and all along those lines, and my cousin John, who got a very special Christmas gift, but he got it actually a day or two later. I think he got it like maybe either yesterday or the day before, but he's got a family house that's been in the family, but he will be the one that will be in charge of the mortgage and will be possibly even living there after a while. So he'll be moving from Georgia to Halifax County and all along those lines. So definitely that'll be a great gift that he can enjoy. It's the family house has been in the house for a number of years because it belonged to my uh, grandfather and grandmother, Vernon and Mary, who were very much community advocates and community people there in Halifax County and did a lot of work there, whether that was in their church or whether that was just on the farm or other places, and just being kind of the matriarchs and patriarchs of the community until I think she passed in the 90s and he passed in the late 70s and everything like that. So definitely memories of them and all along those lines. So I know that we've got Santa Claus with us today, so I'm gonna see how his Christmas was. I know he had to get around the whole world, including some war-torn areas, but he still had to get those Christmas gifts to those Ukrainian children, those Israeli and Palestinian children, those Russian children, and anybody else that might have wanted them. So sometimes he might have been hearing the buzz of sounds and all along those lines. So I'm gonna see how it was going around the world on a day of peace, because that's what Christmas is all about. So we've got Santa with us today, so we're gonna see how Santa's trip was and all along those lines. So how are you doing today? It looks like you've had a very active Christmas. Like I said, I spent Christmas with mom, and we definitely had some good time. Even though it was a small crowd, but like I said, my cousin John, he got a great gift. He got a house, and now mom will get some money because of the transfer of the house to him as the owner of the house, and all along those lines. So it's a family house that'll still stand in the family, but it'll be in his possession. And I know that his brother will get some money, and I know that my mother will get some money, as will my aunt and well, two of my aunts, and all along those lines, because one of the aunts, which is his mother, has passed away. That's probably the reason he's the person that's settling that part of the family property, because he is the one that's kind of in charge of that, since both of his parents passed on and everything. And I think there was the four sisters, since my mom had four sisters and a brother that did not make it out of infancy, and all along those lines. So he's actually buried up at one of our family plots and all along those lines. But how are you doing today?
Oh, ho, 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 ha, ha, ha. Merry Christmas, everyone. I hope everyone had a joyful Christmas with the ones that they love. And if you wasn't with the ones you love, well, love the one you're with.
Exactly.
But it was very busy, as you would say. Yeah.
I know it was busy.
Um,
You had to go give those toys to all those people. I know that you were spending some time with us over at the Hayti Heritage Center, and definitely a lot of people were glad to be able to get those lovely pictures. And we had hundreds, if not thousands, of people of all races and creeds, and definitely they were coming out there to spend some time with you and all along those lines for those. About I think we started on Sunday and ran until Wednesday, so that was 4 days. And of course, you were there around a day or two after. Well, one day I think it was around Thanksgiving or something like that. But it was about 5 days that you were in our place, and I saw the smile on the people's faces, and I saw a lot of people wearing holiday clothes and everything. Some of those holiday clothes they probably should have left in the closet, but that's just my opinion.
well, they're getting into the spirit, which is always good. And the days that we were there was always enjoyable. I always have a great time. The people are fantastic. I see now more and more of the older siblings are joining their younger siblings and partaking in the festivities and taking pictures. And, I just think that is so nice for them to do that. I hope we could do that all year round, though.
Yeah, that would be good. We need peace in the world and everything like that. I know that even when you were making those deliveries, I'm sure that there were a couple of times that Rudolph and Prancer and a number of the other reindeers had to dodge some fire and everything like that. And they were probably sitting there going like, wait a minute, I'm not trying to be in the middle of a gang war, whether it was a gang war or in the middle of a world war like what's going on in Ukraine and stuff. So I'm sure that you found a way to sprinkle some magic dust so that they knew that they were safe as they were traveling. So I'm sure that you had some sort of magical powers to keep them safe.
Well, we flew under the radar, so we did very well. We was practicing almost half the year, to stay low, keep our heads down, put a little cover over Rudolph's nose so it ain't shining too bright, but
Right.
we were able to make it.
And I know kids were there. They were loving those toys and everything like that. I just have to ask you because they talk about Santa being roly and poly, and I've got a little bit of roly and poly in me as well. Even though I couldn't stand to lose some weight and everything like that, but I'm just wondering, it can't help you when a lot of these people are leaving you cakes and pies and candies. I mean, I went to a celebration. I still got the little cookie that they gave me and everything like that, and that was at our neighborhood association. Well, here at the apartment complex, they were doing a Santa celebration, and they had like a little train that the kids were on, and they were giving us hot chocolate and stuff like that. But you're going around the world and you're getting all these goodies. So what's up with all these goodies? And do you sometimes have to like let them know that you can't stop and get everybody's dessert? Because I'm sure that they're trying to give you every dessert possible and everything like that. So how are you dealing with these desserts?
Well, this year I had to incorporate Mrs. Claus. She had a sleigh just to collect all our booty, all our goodies.
Right.
Because I don't want to turn them down. The children would be disappointed. So yeah, and I'm trying to lose weight. And on a sad note, me and a couple of the elves got into a little disturbance over pay.
Oh, not overpay. Because I remember last year you were telling me that they were trying to get unionized. What's up with that?
Yeah, well, they finally did, and a couple of them didn't appreciate my counter offer, and they they sent me to the dentist.
Oh no, not the dentist. What was the counter offers?
Well, first of all, they didn't want any more short or little jokes.
Okay.
And my offer was kind of short, but
Okay.
and it wasn't what they expected. It was lower than they expected.
Oh no. It
But
was it was lower
after
than
we
they
had
expected.
a little kerfuffle, and I had to go see the dentist, it kind of changed my thoughts.
So you decided to give them a little bit of a raise next year or this year coming up?
Yep, yep. I gave him a nice raise. Um, I'm not going to call it a short break anymore.
Yeah, no
Just
more
going to
short
call it a
breaks.
break.
Just a break. Okay.
Yeah, and I'll try to stay away from the short jokes. And they want at least 8 weeks out of the year vacation. Um,
Wow.
they want to make sure AI don't come and take over, which I told them that'll never happen.
I know you're not gonna let that happen, but 8 weeks out of a 52-week year, so that means they're gonna have a pretty good break because that'll be 2 months out of 12 that they'll get
Well,
a break and everything like that. So I'm trying to figure out, there's no islands that are geared toward small people because I know in the past you and the missus would go over to the Caribbean or someplace nice and warm to escape the coldness of the North Pole and everything. So how are you gonna deal with it? And where did they say they wanted to go on the vacation? Are they trying to join you in the Caribbean, or are they trying to go like to France?
well, first and foremost, a happy worker is a good worker, or a good worker is a happy worker. So when they do come back from their vacations or their time off, they'll be willing to get back to work and do a very good job. And I asked them, where you guys want to go? And one of them said, don't you worry about where I'm going.
Oh wow,
So I
he had
said,
a little bit of an
hey,
attitude.
oh, a smart mouth, eh?
He had a smart mouth elf and everything like that.
Yeah.
That's just wrong. But I gotta ask you, if you gave them a raise, does this mean that the rest of the crew? Because when I think of the whole North Pole, it's Santa Claus, Miss Claus, it's the elves, and then it's the reindeer. So does this mean that Rudolph and Prancer and the rest of the gang are gonna want their raise too? Are the reindeers looking for a raise?
Yeah, of course. If the elves get it, they want theirs too. And it'll be better feed. a nice warm barn for them, TV set up all over. And you know what? All these centuries, I got the money.
Yeah, you
It's
raised
about
enough
time I
money.
spread a little joy to my workers.
Yeah, and I'm sure they'll appreciate that. The reindeer will be appreciated. They're gonna enjoy their time and everything like that. You know, there's another character that I'm trying to understand how come he's getting more play than he used to get. And I know that you cannot be too happy about this, but even at our apartment complex, there was a nice big statue of the Grinch. I know a lot of people are glad to call themselves the Grinch and think that they're the Grinch and everything. We might even have a Grinch sitting in our White House and everything like that. So what's with the popularity of the Grinch? Because when I was growing up, the Grinch was not a nice guy and he was stealing all the toys. But what's up with the Grinch and why is he becoming like a popular person?
Only thing I can come up with, Brother Mark, is that the world has changed. Bad is good now, and good is who wants to be. The bad. You look at some of these movies, the bad guys, the Freddy Kruegers and the Jasons, they're always winning in the end, and that's how it is. But you did suggest to me I got to start giving out more coal.
Yes.
And I think that may change the attitude. You want to be a Grinch, you get coal in your stocking.
Yeah, you got to get some coal out there. There's some people that probably definitely deserve some coal, and they might have to get that coal because of some of the things that they've done or haven't done because they've been doing crazy stuff. I mean, like that one person I was trying to get you to give some coal to, he's basically taken over a whole building and put his name on it. So there seems to be a lot of people that are being very egotistical these days too, and it's not just him. There's others as well. So how are you dealing with this whole ego thing and all along those lines? Because I mean, I know you keep that naughty and nice list and everything like that. And some versions of people of naughty is somebody else is nice and somebody's nice and somebody's naughty. But that's a whole nother story. But how are you dealing with this whole notion of these ego folks out there?
Very difficult because I'm only well, I start making my appearance in November, near the end of November, and I'm done Christmas Eve, and there's not too much Christmas Eve, and it's not too much I can do in a short amount of time. But I always try to remind the people of the world, Jesus is the reason for the season,
Right.
and let's try to keep that in mind all year round, 365 days.
That would be a great idea. We would do that on a more regular basis and everything like that because we got to figure out a way to do that. You know, I mentioned the Grinch. There was another character from the old winter movies that I remember, and he wasn't popular either, but a lot of people liked him as well. So, did you ever have any peace with the abominable snowman and everything like that? Because I remember that he was in there as well. And how is he doing these days? Because I remember him as a kid, and he was out there trying to do what he could do and everything like that. And a lot of people admired him because he was a snowman and he was like a walking snowman. And some people said he's real. Some people said he's like the Loch Ness monster, that he doesn't really exist. Even though I've heard that there are rumors, Loch Ness is just hiding. He's actually around, just like you, Santa Claus. So maybe the Loch Ness is here. Maybe the abdominal snowman is here, and a number of these other characters that people think are not real are actually real. So is the Loch Ness real? And what about this abdominal snowman and some of these other ones that they say are out there walking around, but we just don't see them?
Well, the abominable snowman is up in the Himalayas.
Mm-hmm.
I'm north. I'm southeast of there, so I really
Right.
don't get a chance. But I do hear about them on occasions in the Loch Ness. They try to stay out of sight, out of mind because of the way our society is. They want to capture them and then probe them and everything, and they don't want no parts of that. As
Yeah,
they say, leave me alone, I leave you alone.
I know that's right. We got to do that. Got to leave more people alone and everything like that. Because I know you go around the world, but there's been rumors, and there's a lot of rumors. I got some friends that are into it. One friend claims that he's actually from outer space. Well, know whether that's true or not. You would know better than I could. You keep this list of people that are naughty and nice and everything. But do you just go around the world, or are there actually other planets, and do you get a chance to deliver them to them as well, or do you just have to just do with the world as we know it, like the United States and the five continents and all along those lines, or do you get to go to like Mars and Pluto, and are there people up there? What's up?
Oh, well, I believe there are, but however, I just deal with what's here on Earth, people who are celebrating.
Hmm.
If I want to try to go outside of my zone, more money for my elves and everything, and and it's a whole new contract they have to sign
Yeah,
because
because
we'll be doing just more than Christmas Eve, and they're just getting around to liking what's happening to them now.
well, speaking of
But
the elves,
yes,
I know.
there is life on other planets.
Oh, good. There is life on other planets. I'm glad you know that. And speaking of the elves, and speaking of the reindeer that we were talking about earlier, and all those fancy reindeer names and everything along those lines. But I did have a question, a couple of questions that crossed my mind. One is, did Rudolph and the reindeer get jealous? Because I remember there was a movie called Buddy. It was about an elf, and there were a couple of other movies. So the elves have been getting some attention. There was even like Toys, which was a movie about toys that I think either Tom Hanks or Tom Cruise was in. One of those Toms was in that movie and everything like that. But were they getting jealous when they saw some of these other characters like the elves getting to play? Because for a long time it was just all about Rudolph and his friends. But over the last few years, even the last decades or so, we've seen some movies about the elves and other people as well. So were they getting jealous when they saw those other people and
No,
those other movies?
no, they don't get jealous because they know they've been around for so long. And Rudolph, excuse me, Rudolph, and I mean, they have a song named after him, and all the kids know it, but they
Right.
don't have a song named after Buzz Lightyear and Woody or any of those other characters. I don't even know if there's an elf song
No,
that's
I
as
don't think so.
popular as Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer.
No, I don't think there is a song that's as popular as Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer and everything like that. And of course, he was all getting abused because of that red nose. At least that's what the song says and everything. So does he still get teased about the red nose, or is he all right with the red nose now? And have you upgraded the red nose? Because I remember, for a minute there, the red nose, he's had the red nose ever since he joined the force, meaning the reindeer force. But is he happy with the red nose, or have you upgraded the red nose?
Oh no, he's happy with the red nose. He knows he's the man, and yeah, remember that one foggy day, Santa came to say, "With that nose so bright," and then all the reindeers loved him, and they haven't stopped.
They haven't stopped ever since there. So, what did the reindeer do when Christmas is over? Because I know that they are training to go on this long ride and everything like that, and all along those lines. And there's some people that think that they can bring the reindeer. As a matter of fact, I heard of a hospital that had a reindeer came by and made an appearance, kind of like you do, and everything like that. And the kids love seeing the reindeer. It might have been just a moose dressed up as a reindeer. It might have been an actual reindeer. So, what did the reindeers do during the off season, or is there an off season for the reindeer? And how long does it take to train a reindeer to fly?
Well, it takes about 5 months to teach them how to fly, and once when they're done, Christmas Day and the day after, they really relax because their legs are really tired from flying up in the air and everything and carrying that big sleigh. They go to the don't tell nobody. We got a big barn where they do a little drinking.
Oh
We
wow!
put a little eggnog in their trough, drop a little whiskey in it, let them let their hair down.
They get to have a reindeer. They
Don't
get
tell
to have. A,
everybody because I don't want the FAA to stop us when we're flying, thinking that we had a couple.
don't want them to think that he had a couple of nips and that he might be a drunk reindeer and everything like that. No, we can't have that.
No, we don't do that when they're flying. Only when the season is over, and they get to mill about all around the South from North there. They travel to the South and North Pole back and forth, visit family and friends, and have some little war stories to tell. I don't think they're all true, but I let
They
them
might.
have their way.
You let them have their way and everything like that. So you said they travel between the North and the South Pole. So the reindeer stay between both poles and everything along those lines. So do they ever get replaced? Because the song that we've heard forever talks about these the main reindeers. And like I said, I've named two of them. I know there are other ones as well. But do the reindeers ever get replaced, kind of like football and basketball players do? Or is Rudolph going to be in charge all the way through life and everything? Because I understand that these reindeer might even be immortal. They may never die. So these reindeer may be around forever. So what's up with the reindeer?
That's a good question. The reindeers and Rudolph, they're like the spirit of the boogie. There is no
Mhm.
beginning and there is no end.
Okay.
And that's
So
how we see it, and that's how it's done.
that's how it's done and everything like that. Oh, so did you get any good snacks this time around when you were traveling around? And did you get any new snacks? Maybe you stopped by and somebody had a pecan pie for you or something like that. So was there any new snacks that you were not expecting?
Yeah, I got these cookies. They're like straw cookies and kind of hollow on the inside. And they were very, very tasty.
Oh wow.
I'm like, oh, well, thank you. They had a nice cold glass of eggnog there for me. And I wanted to stay and eat them all up, but I had to get on the road. But they were some very good cookies. They were called chocolate something. I forgot.
Oh wow.
I got to see if Mrs. Claus can whip them up for me.
She'll have to whip them up for you and get you another great dish of them and all along those lines. Did anybody request anything unusual this Christmas, whether it was the kids at Haytime or whether it was just kids in general? Because I also know you were at the Durham Christmas parade and you might have been at other parades as well. So did anybody have any strange requests? Maybe they wanted some with snow, which we did not get on Christmas. Maybe they wanted to get like a wife. Maybe they had some other strange requests. Were there any strange requests that you had this time around?
You know, all the kids usually ask for the toys and a house for their parents and the Bobby cars and everything. But I had one high school student who was a marathon runner.
Uh-huh.
And I asked him, well, what would you like for Christmas? And he's in 10th grade. He says, Santa, the only thing I want is a pair of size 9 Hey Dudes.
Oh wow.
I said, Hey Dudes? He said, yeah, that's it? He said, that's it. I don't mind my little brothers and sisters getting all of what they want, but I just want a pair of Hey Dudes. I thought that was really unique and so nice. Uh,
That
just
was
a pair
it.
of shoes.
Just a pair of shoes.
Yeah.
Did you get a lot of people that wanted bicycles? Because I remember back in the day, every kid wanted a bicycle and everything like that. So I don't even know if bicycles are as popular as they used to be because I don't see a lot of kids riding them in my neighborhood now and everything. But did you get a lot of requests for bicycles?
Yeah, bicycles, scooters, skates, skateboard.
Okay.
But I told them, what goes with a helmet, a skateboard, a scooter, or anything that you're going to be riding? What's the most important thing you need to have? And they didn't know.
What was
I
it?
said, a helmet,
A helmet, right? Yeah.
because you gotta protect that coconut.
Got to
You don't
protect
want to
that coconut.
fall and don't have a helmet on and crack that coconut.
Yeah, that would be very not good, and we don't want we did not want the ambulances busy on that particular year because we know sometimes people can get a little carried away on Christmas and everything like that. Do you and Miss Claus have any big plans for this evening? Because this evening is New Year's Eve, and a lot of people might be going out and celebrating. So is there going to be a big New Year's Eve celebration in the North Pole this year?
There will be one, but it seems like, well, Mrs. Claus makes it, but I don't.
Okay,
12 o'clock normally I'm,
you're asleep on New Year's Eve.
yeah, and I get up maybe about 12:30 or so, and but I have seen so many, eh,
What's missing one?
or two or
Or
three.
two, or three, or four, or five. You might be asleep and everything like that. You're not going to be sitting there watching whoever replaced Dick Clark or some of the other ones because I know some people get really excited and decide to go watch the New
The
Year's Eve
ball drop.
celebrations.
Yeah, I try. I'm sitting in my big easy chair with the vibrations and the heat and everything, feet up, and I don't make it past 10 o'clock.
Doesn't even make it past 10 o'clock. Santa's ready
Mr.
to go to
Mark,
sleep.
I am a very busy man.
You
And I'm
are
not as
busy.
young as I used to be, so I can't stay up the way I would. I know the elves, they're having a great time.
Oh, they're having a
Party,
party.
party over here, party over there. I can't make that stuff anymore.
Yeah, I heard that they had like a whole throwdown and everything like that. A friend of mine that actually lives in another country, he told me he was trying to make it to the Elves party because apparently the Elves party has got a reputation among the party goers of the world and everything like that. I heard that some of the Hollywood elite and some of the like elites of the sports world and everything like that, did they try to make it to the Elves party? That's what I heard. Now, like I said, well, whether that's true or not, that I don't know. But I mean, I'm a Vikings fan and they didn't make the playoffs, but I understand that Justin Jefferson might try to slip by, even though he got one more game in this season to see if he can make it to the Elks party. And even the same with Brad Pitt. And I even heard that, and this really shocked me because she can be a little naughty, but I heard rumors that J Lo and Beyonce were going to be at the party too. But that's what I heard. I don't know if this is true or
It,
not.
it
So
could be because I know and I heard there ain't no party like an elf party because the elf party never stops.
that's what I heard.
So especially New Year's Eve, but they got to get a bigger venue for those taller people,
Right.
and I guess that'll come out of my pocket too, you know.
Yeah, because they got to build it real fast. I know the elves are very fast workers and everything like that. How are the elves doing with this new technology? Because I talked about the bicycles. I don't see a lot of kids with bicycles, but I know that a lot of kids wanted the latest AI. They wanted the latest kind of like um, virtual things and all along those lines. Whether it was the virtual glasses, of course, they wanted the latest video games and all along those lines. So how are the AI? I mean, how are the elves doing with the new, more modern toys?
Well, starting really tomorrow, they watch those tech shows
Okay.
to get a leg up and know what's in style and what's not in style, and they do their research, and by April they're ready. They're getting things in production.
Oh, how so even if it's brand new stuff, like even I know that there were like these robo vacuum cleaners, and of course there was like these robo things that can help you keep your house clean and everything like that. So and there I've even heard about robo wives. I don't know why you would want a robo wife or anything like that, but they're in production and they are actually ready to get those at an early age and everything as soon as they're like by say July.
By July, yes. And they definitely watch those tech programs because they want to keep an eye on the AI and make sure they're not coming up with any lot of any elves that could replace them. So they're
Yeah,
staying up on that. But I
are
told them
they
I'll never replace you guys.
I know that's right, but are they afraid that you're going to replace them? Because I mean, I went to a restaurant not that long ago, and the person that took the order was a robot. So, and then the actual person handed us the food, thank goodness. But it was a robot that took the order. So are they afraid that you're going to have AI elves, and even it's Rudolph and his gang, where that you're going to have AI reindeer?
No, because of where we live, the weather just gets too cold, and they know that machinery is not going to be able to withstand 40 and 50 below. So they don't have that much of concern, but they do keep their eye open. They stay woke.
Oh, well, they gotta stay woke, gotta stay alert, and then know what's going on, and everything like that. But I did have a question about this whole notion of and I alluded to it earlier, the naughty and nice list, because a lot of people, there are 365 days of the year, and I know that you got that whole list about naughty and nice and everything like that. But it seems like a lot of people try to be very naughty 364 days of the year, and then they try to get nice on that last day and everything. So I'm thinking that that's not the way that the list works. I think you got to be at least nice part of the time and everything. But
Yes.
there's this rule, and I don't know if you got to be nice half of the year or the whole time of the year, or how the naughty and nice list works, and exactly what is the definition of Santa of naughty. Because some people are going and they're telling me that that's not naughty. Like some people will try to give, like I know during New Year's there'll be the whole mistletoe, and people will be trying to steal kisses and stuff like that. And some people are like, that's a nice thing. That's not a naughty thing. So what's the definition of naughty and nice? What's really naughty?
When we're dealing with the children, the naughty is not listening to your parents, not paying attention in school, not being nice to each other, not bullying each other, um, making sure you eat your vegetables and say your prayers, and just trying to be the best person you can be. We have a limitation on how many times you can be naughty during the first 10 months.
Okay.
They can redeem themselves in 2 months if they go over the naughty quota.
I think go to that. And what's the naughty quota and what's the rules for adults? That was for the kids. Be nice to your parents and everything like that. I'm thinking that the parents have to be and the older people have to be nice to their young people in their lives. Like I don't have any young people except I do have my two nephews and got friends that are younger than me and everything like that. So what's the rule for naughty and nice for adults?
Uh, do the right thing. Always do the right thing. Treat others as you would want to be treated,
Mhm.
and to always make sure you educate your children, talk to your children, help out the elderly. If you can, try to get to hospitals and visit the sick. Do as much volunteer work as you can,
Okay.
and that would put you on that good list. And when you ask for the house or the Rolls Royce and things of that nature, You ain't gonna get it, but you know what? You're in the running
You're in the running. You might get it eventually. Things along those lines. You won't get it this year. You might get it next year. You might get
next
it
year. That's right.
in the year 2036. You might get it in the year 2040 or some year down the road and everything like that. Now I've been watching these. Speaking of AI, I've been watching these interesting videos and everything like that. And I know some people will hope that you are not just supporting the human beings in the Christmas list and all along those lines, but I've been watching both the cat and the dog podcast, and even sometimes the cats talk about how they own an alley or how they're trying to take over an alley and how they might be trying to abuse their adults and their humans by intentionally knocking off stuff and doing scratching at weird hours of the night and doing the zoomies as they call them at weird hours of the night and everything like that. So I'm thinking that if there was anything that might have caught Santa coming down the chimney, it might have been the cats and the dogs and the parakeets and whatever other pets might be out there as well. So, how did you deal with the pets as you were making the deliveries, and did you bribe them with gifts, or did you bring them some maybe some extra uh, kibbles and bits and stuff like that?
Exactly, Mark. That's what I do. I have a bag full of treats, and if I hear it, I hear a cat meow or a dog barking or a parrot talking. I take the treats and throw them down the chimney. They come to it. I start talking to them on my way down. I got more for you, and they cool out.
They just chill out. They don't bother you at all. They let you put the
They
gifts where
let
they
me
gotta go.
be. It's the person who's feeding them. It's the one that they love.
That is true. That is who the pets love is the one that's feeding them. So if you as long as you bringing some food, they're good with you. They're like, I don't care about the man in the with the white beard and got the reindeers and everything like that. Even though I did hear that one of the cats one time, and I think it was maybe one of the dogs too, tried to sneak to the North Pole, and then halfway through the trip, I think they might have got picked up in North Carolina, and I think it was when they got to either Texas or California. They realized that you're gonna have to make a return trip to the North Pole, and that's when they realized that they don't like 20-degree below weather and everything like that. So I understand that one of them tried to hitch a ride, but then had you drop them back off home.
Yeah, yeah. But usually that's Mrs. Claus's job, because we see them out there stranded, and they're giving us the finger, the thumb going back that way. And I tell them, Mr. Claus, go ahead, take them back, and you'll catch up. We know how to do this.
So,
We're
so
not
you
new at this.
so you let them drop them off when they're having that conversation with the reindeers and realize that if they go to your house, that you might have all the food, all the milk, and all the kind of burgers that the dog might want and everything else, but that they'd have to deal with one the reindeers and also deal with that cold weather, which they are not used to unless they came from those environments. So they
Well, they do have relatives up there, the sleigh dogs and the not the mountain lions, the bobcats and things of that nature, and Siberian tigers, and they do have some relatives up there, but that's not their scene, that's not their kind of weather.
No, that's not there was at all. How did you deal? Because even in my apartment, there's no chimney and everything like that. So I understand you have a magic key that gets you into some houses and everything. Because the old story was that you dropped into chimneys, and even the house that I mentioned my cousin inherited, and all along those lines, it does have a fireplace, but I don't think it's connected to a chimney, or if it is, the chimney may not be working, or it might actually be working. But how are you dealing with those houses and apartments that don't have chimneys? Is it like just a magic universal key you've got that can get into just about any house?
Well, now they have the digital locks on the doors,
Right.
and a lot of it, my elves make. So we have a don't tell nobody. We got the secret code that can open up any door. Boop,
Okay.
boop, beep, beep, beep.
Just
And
open up
then
any
we
door.
we can turn off the alarm. But normally, and Mark, this is why we didn't stop by your house. You didn't turn your alarm off. So
That's
when
what I
we
forgot to
seen that
do.
red light blinking, we just closed the door back and left. But a lot of parents turn that alarm off so they know we're coming,
Right.
and we can drop off their gifts.
Oh, that
But
makes
now
sense.
you
Well,
know, Mark, and knowing is half the battle.
that is half the
See how
battle.
it
I
go.
think I did get some gifts, and I think Mom said that she got them from you. But I know I got some pants and some shirts and some other things, and there might be some other gifts coming later. But I know that a lot of times the people say that the gifts, even if they are from the parents, that they actually came from Santa and everything like that. So even as a youngster, I do remember that. But I did have a question for you. How do you deal with these parents? Because even as a kid, I remember I think it was one year me and my younger brother were probably we're in our 60s and 50s now, respectively, and everything like that. But I remember one year, I think he might have been a preteen, and I was definitely a teenager, and we got like a nice train set. I think Dad spent more time with that train set than we did, and everything. So, how do you deal with the parents that are getting gifts for the kids, but they play more with the gift than the actual kids do? I'm thinking that might be a case of the adults being naughty and everything like that. So, how do you deal with that later on? Do you get them back later, or do you just have like a little note that they can do that for maybe about 4 or 5 days, but then they got to turn the toy back over to the kids?
Well, if the parents have been good, I mean, you got to know what your kids are doing and be involved and know what's going on. So I allow them to experiment and play with these toys to make sure it's a okay.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. And you allow them to do that and everything like that. So that's a good thing and all along those lines. When you were there in the Haytide, did anybody other than the kid that wanted the shoes have any other unusual gifts, maybe about their family dynamics or something along those lines? So did anybody come and tell you that they wanted their brother to go off to college, maybe to get rid of the brother, or they wanted their sister to finally get married, even though the sister was 45 or 50 or something like that? So, did anybody have any strange requests for you?
Well, Mark, that's a great question. I think this year batch of children was very thoughtful. I always ask the question, are you a good big sister to your little brother and vice versa? And they all nodded their head with a big smile.
Okay.
And I think that's an improvement from years past. Some say, like you just said, hey, when is my brother going to move out so I can have the room all to myself?
Right.
And they do their chore. They all did chores around the house. I tested them to see, what do you do? I
Hmm.
sweep, I mop, I wash dishes, I help clean the bathroom, I
Okay.
wash the windows, clean the windows. I'm like, whoa, 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 whoa. You
Whoa.
guys are really putting it on for Santa, eh? And I always check with the parents, and they give me the thumbs up. So,
So they've actually been doing a good job. So the kids are getting a better job, and all along those lines. I'm imagining that some people wanted, like I said, those robo sweepers, those robo vacuum cleaners, and I'm sure people wanted the new appliances, whether it was the new refrigerator, the new microwave, or the new washer and dryer, and everything like that. So those things can be real heavy. So how is Rudolph and them dealing? Because with I know some of the gifts are what we consider typical gifts, but I know a lot of people that wanted heavy appliances. Some people might have even wanted a new bed or wanted a new car or everything along those lines. So, how do you get all those items in that one big sleigh, in that one big vehicle, and everything like that? Because that's a lot of stuff to be toting. And I know that you're toting all these things, and I know some people want some heavy duty items. So, do you have a separate delivery that comes behind the slate truck that helps you with that and everything? Because I know that, of course, you got some of these delivery companies that can help move stuff. Like I know here in Durham, we've got Trosa and everything like that. But do you have a unit? Maybe it's filled of the reindeer's cousins, the wolves, or something like that, that is helping you get these items to the heavy duty items. Because I know people want sometimes like a new oven.
well, Mark, I can't give away all of Santa's secrets.
Right,
Some things we have to keep as a mystery.
right.
Okay, if I give it all away, then there's no more mystery.
That's it.
And if I do tell you, you know what the next line is, right? And I don't want to do that. I like it.
Yeah.
So we got to keep some things a secret.
Okay. That makes sense. I can understand that. I just figured you had some magic powder that made them smaller until you got to the house, and then you just sprinkled it back, and it became more of the size that
Well,
we knew.
well, Mark, I'm going to let you keep thinking that, and I'm not going to confirm or deny
You're not gonna
because it's
confirm
going to
or
take away
deny.
the magic. I don't want you to say, "Oh man, oh well, I was right." So we're going to keep it as a mystery.
It'll be a mystery. One of those life mysteries. We're just gonna keep it as a mystery, and all along those lines. Now, Santa, what's your favorite Christmas movie? Because I know a friend of mine, he might even be moving back eventually, but he did that movie This Christmas. Ronnie Warner, he was one of the producers of that, and he also played one of the bad guys. And of course, a lot of people, even though they don't think of it as a Christmas movie, Home Alone is a Christmas movie. And of course, there was always It's a Wonderful Life, and there are a number of other ones that are out there. And of course, we've mentioned Rudolph, and he's got his own movie, and Buddy had his movie, and everything like that. But what is Santa's favorite Christmas movie?
Hmm. My favorite Christmas movie would be, I was going to say The Grinch, but no. Would be Rudolph.
Rudolph. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
I can see that. What about your
Rudolph.
favorite? What about your favorite Christmas song? Because I know a lot of people love their Christmas songs. We were playing some during the time you were there and everything like that. And some people have some that are the classics, like chestnuts roasting over the flame and everything like that. And of course, the Christmas song. And there are a number of other ones. Roberta Flack, I think, had a couple of Christmas songs. And then, of course, there are songs that are a little bit on the what you would call the naughty list. Because I know there's a blues song that talks about the backdoor Santa and all along those lines. So, what is your favorite Christmas song, and what do you say when these blues cats do these songs about that are the naughty kind of Christmas songs?
Well, our photographer, Ron, he has an extensive playlist. And for the past couple of years, he's been playing Earth, Wind, and Fire's Christmas album,
Hmm.
which is fantastic. And Fantasia is a great singer. I love her Christmas album. The Temptations, without a doubt. Luther Vandross,
Hmm.
Nat King Cole. I mean, can't leave him out.
Oh, you can't leave him out.
And music is like art. You hear it or you see it, you like it. If you don't see it, you see it, you don't like it. So I can't really criticize the naughty songs, because I don't listen to the naughty songs.
Uh huh.
But yeah, live and let live. That's my motto.
That's a good motto and everything like that. Now you said you let her go out this time. I know she doesn't always go with you, but she apparently went this time when you were making the delivery. So when did Miss Claus start joining you on these worldwide runs and everything along those lines? And how is she enjoying the Christmas Eve travel? Because like I said, for a while there, she was letting you do your thing, and she was not trying to go on the trip. I think she was taking care of the sick and shut in, like the elves that couldn't make it because they were not feeling well and all along those lines. But this time, I guess everybody was well, so she was able to go on the trip. So how are you dealing? How did Miss Claus enjoy the trip this time around?
Well, good question once again, Mark. Mrs. Claus, she also wanted to up her salary, and I told her, "You want more money? You do more work." She says, "What do I have to do?" I said, "Hitch your sleigh up to some reindeers, and you follow behind me with the extras. Stuff that I don't want to carry, and you pick up all the snacks and treats and letters and pictures and thank yous, and that'll be your job."
How did she like that job this year?
Well, she wants more money. Don't matter if she like it or not.
She's got to
you
do what
know,
she's.
at Santa Mark, you got to rule with an iron fist.
Yeah, you
You
definitely have to
can't
rule
be
with
too
that.
nice.
It can't be too nice. You got to rule with that iron fist and everything. For a long time, there was a lot of people that loved North Carolina because we produced some of the best Christmas trees. I think there were other parts of the nation that did good Christmas trees as well. But I was just wondering, was that what you found that you loved the pine and the North Carolina Christmas trees? Because I know that we had a wide history of having Christmas trees and all along those lines. And how did we do this year in terms of our Christmas trees farms from North Carolina?
Well, I tell you, Mark, to be honest with you, these artificial trees and these real trees are really starting to look alike, except for the smell.
Right.
And we're kind of losing that tradition. But I did see a lot of trees out around some of the supermarkets when I was doing my travels before Christmas. So yeah, smells nice. But the artificial ones and this other one they just make up, you just put together, it's taken away from the originality of having a tree in the house.
Yeah, that makes sense. And then if you got a real tree, you also got to put the tree up because I know this year is a tradition. The mom brought the Christmas tree out on Thanksgiving after we had had dinner, and the boys went and got the tree, and then they decorated part of it, and then one of our other relatives came and helped her finish the decorations. But at some point, we'll have to bring the tree down. It might be me, it might be my brother, it might be my nephews, but somebody will have to bring the tree down. But I just wondering, what do you think about some people that leave their Christmas trees and even their Christmas decorations up well into like Valentine's Day and other days as well? So I just wanted your thoughts around that as an iconic figure when for Christmas when you see the Christmas tree still up. I think I even saw a Christmas tree still up maybe on St. Pat's Day.
Well, I just think there's still spreading joy. I like to look at the glass as half full. If they still have it up and they want to pay that electric bill, and kids still go by and smile and point and everything, it's a good thing.
That is a good thing. What was the best display that you saw this year? Whether it was in your travels or up there in the North Pole, did the elves do anything special with their house decorations or the reindeer and everything like that? And how even as you were traveling, did you see any that really struck your fancy? I know I was watching on one of our local news coverages. There was a family that apparently has been doing it for years, but they had a whole Candyland theme. So you could go over there, you could get candy. You could also, it was set up as the old board game Candyland and everything like that. So, and I think the people had some other elaborate ones as well. I'm thinking that some of these rich and selfish people, they may have a whole Monopoly game as their Christmas tree decorations.
Well, once again, I would have to defer to Ron, the photographer. He does his house every year. He does a Halloween and and Christmas, and it's always spectacular. It takes him about 2 or 3 weeks to get it together, and once when it's together, it is so nice.
Wow, so it's super nice, and you're sitting there going like, "Wow, that's just too nice." And how did he get all of that stuff up there and everything like that? So, how long does it stay up when he puts it up there? Yeah, and you said he does both Halloween and Christmas. Isn't that like opposite themes? Because Halloween belongs to like the
Yeah,
bad guys.
yeah, you should see it. It's unbelievable. The Halloween scene is unbelievable. And when I was incognito, I seen a lot of people decorating their house for Halloween, and that's just the prelude to Christmas decoration.
Oh yeah.
So some of the Halloween decorations they keep, and they just put a Santa suit on it or something else, and start building from there.
Now I gotta ask you about this because I was looking up mythology about Christmas, and there's this there. You mentioned what happened with you and the elves, but there was some other mythologies about Santa, and I guess somebody picks you off or something like that, and you punch somebody. And I'm going like, I hadn't heard about this myth, but apparently there is this myth, and it's part of a popular story where you got mad and you punched somebody. And I'm going like, I don't remember hearing that in the Santa myths, but everything like that. But apparently there was this whole notion that you got mad and you pinched somebody and you punched somebody one time and everything like that. So what's up with that?
You know, as you said earlier in the conversation, you hear a lot of rumors,
Right.
and that's one of the rumors that's going around. Do they have any pictures? Is there a police report? Is there a trip to the hospital? I don't think so.
I don't think so either. You know, one of the people that really made a lot of money off of you, and I didn't know what you thought about this because they made more money off of you this year that we're almost out of and everything like that. But what do you think about Coca Cola and them loving you? Because apparently they popularized your red suit. They came up with this whole jolly bearded image that existed as part of their 1930s campaign and everything like that. So, what did you think about this notion about Coca Cola really? Commercializing you Santa Claus because they were one of the early ones that commercialized you. There were other ones that did it too, but Coca Cola really went out on a limb and commercialized you.
Well, you said the Coca Cola suit. Um, I've been getting a nice little royalty check every year, and I think my elves finally found out about it. That's why they wanted to get a little piece of the action. But I think it's all right. I mean, people make the world go round just like money makes the world go round.
Yeah, but I also heard about this rumor about you and the fine folks over there in Germany and everything like that. And there's this notion that they have to hide a glass pickle and they get an extra gift even though a lot of folks say that the Germans never even heard about this rumor and everything like that. So apparently, it's something that's going out there. It's kind of like one of them things that's out there on the internet. Maybe it's true, maybe it's not true. But even when you go talk to the Germans, they're going like, "I ain't put no glass pickle out." But other people will say that it was a popular German tale about hiding a glass pickle for an extra gift. But and most people are saying that it's largely a myth, and most Germans never heard of it, and that's even from the How Stuff Works website and everything like that. So, are there ways that you can get an extra gift, and is putting an extra glass pickle out there a way to get an extra gift?
Well, Mark, Santa cannot be bribed. Okay,
Right.
that's first and foremost. And how do rumors get started? Stop spreading these rumors around.
Well,
I
speaking of
will not
rumors,
confirm nor deny.
I know you're not going to confirm or deny. But speaking of not confirming or denying, a lot of people, when they think about Christmas, and you definitely mentioned Jesus, and that's the reason for the season, and all along those lines, but they'll also talk about the Christmas tree, and they'll talk about a number of these things that are actually part of pagan celebrations. I mentioned the mistletoe earlier and everything like that. So, what is your thoughts around it when people try to make it less of a religious holiday and more of its pagan roots, because it does have some pagan roots also, including the winter solstice celebrations. But what do you say when they're saying that we're not covering the whole history of Christmas?
Well, that's up to the parents to enlighten and inform their children of that. Um, I just keep, when they want to celebrate Christmas, I always let them know that you can't have Christmas without Christ, and we should always go by the golden rule.
That makes a lot of sense. We
And
got to go by that golden rule. What do you think about other holidays? Because some people will be upset and all along those lines and everything like that, and in that space and all along that kind of way. So I just wondering your thoughts around like Hanukkah, which I think is ended, and Kwanzaa, and I think the Muslim population has their own holidays as well. But there are a number of these holidays that are around winter time and everything like that. So do you uh, ever practice any celebrations of those? I know that the day after Christmas, I came back after having spent it with mom, and as is an annual tradition and has been now for decades, I was part of the Haiti Kwanzaa celebration. So, what's your thoughts about that? These other celebrations?
well, this is a subject that is political or religious political. Um, I'd say there's only one true God, and I just go with that one. And if people want to celebrate what they want, that's up to them. Because we do have free choice. We do what we want to do, hopefully willingly, and it's up to them what happens after that. They're the ones when their time comes, they have to deal with our Lord and Savior.
Oh, that makes a lot of sense and everything along those lines. So they'll have to deal with that at that time. I had mentioned because I think you was Stafford who works with you directly in terms of getting these gigs at Hayti and the Christmas tree parade. The Christmas parade in Durham and a number of other things as well. That they was talking about giving some of the other characters some play too and giving them their own day, whether that was the Easter Bunny or whether that was Cupid or a number of others as well. So do y'all ever have a meeting of the characters of the holidays and everything? And what do y'all say in these meetings? Because you're talking about the elves union, but I think there's got to be like a union that includes Santa Claus and Cupid and maybe the St. Patrick's Day character, as well as some of the other ones that I mentioned, including the Easter Bunny and everything like that. Because there are at least 5 or 6 holidays that have characters associated with them, like your good buddy. I'm sure that you've already had a conversation with him. Maybe he's part of the holiday union, but your good buddy is getting ready to turn over time again and everything, because Father Time always had this ritual of turning it over to whoever the Baby New Year is. So it'll be Baby New Year 2026 and everything like that. But he's getting ready to turn over his reign of 2025 and everything like that. So how do y'all deal with all of these different holidays? And do you ever have rich conversations with the Easter Bunny and Father Time?
Well, once a year they do have a big annual meet, in a secret location with all the different characters for the holidays. But I don't go anymore. To me, it's the day that I could be doing something else.
You don't go hang out with the Easter Bunny anymore?
Hmm?
You don't go hang out with the Easter Bunny anymore?
Nah, I did it for how many years now? I mean, you did it you did it 50,000 times. I mean, you missed 20,000. It's not gonna hurt. Same old, same old.
They keep saying the same things and all along those
Yeah,
lines.
but I do have a difficult time with what I don't like Mother's Day, Father's Day, and Valentine's Day. Those are the ones I really stay away from as best as I can because I think it's a day that, especially, well, all three of those so-called holidays, they call them now, we should be doing it 365 days, not just one day out the year.
Yeah, and I'm still trying to figure out, and maybe you can explain to me, but why come the person that's supposed to be associated with love and everything like that? Because I know you got that naughty nice list that I've referred to a couple of times and everything. But how come he's running around in a diaper? Because I still don't understand Cupid's outfit. Maybe he explained it to you during those secret meetings, but I don't understand Cupid's outfit.
I asked him that too. He said because it's cute. You see, Valentine's Day is more for women, and
Right.
they think it's so cute. So he says, why ruin a good thing? This is what
But
keeps it going. They think this little man in a diaper is so
with the
cute.
bow and
So
arrow,
yeah,
with a bow and
and
arrow at
we,
that,
hmm?
with a bow and arrow at that. So he's got a
Yeah,
diaper
yeah.
on.
Well, they know the legend. It strikes you, and you fall in love. And us men, we got to do what we got to do.
You got to do what we got to do. Now, I heard this rumor, and this was involving another part of culture and everything like that. And it's one of them rumors. Maybe it's true, maybe it's not. But I got to ask you, and it comes down to Germany and everything along those lines. But I'd heard that there was a half goat, half demon person that you used to hang out with called Krampus and everything like that. But apparently, he was going around, and he was the one that was punishing the bad kids on that naughty list and everything like that. So, and they said that both of you arrived on December 5th, and that you went around rewarding the good kids at St. Nick while he took care of the bad by wallowing them with a stick, eating them or sending them to that place that nobody wants to go to and everything like that. So is this like a real rumor, or is this just something that some bad parents in Germany decided to tell to keep their kids on the straight and narrow?
Once again, Mark, those rumors. I I stay in my lane. I know what Santa does. What anyone else does, I stay away from that. Um, I wouldn't say this is the first I'm hearing of it, like someone we know that's running this country right now. But
Mm-hmm.
I can't deny and I can't confirm. That's what I say.
So you can't confirm or deny about something called the Yule Cat either, because apparently there was something where there was like a Yule Cat that had glowing eyes and sharp whiskers and claws, and apparently that he roamed countryside looking for children who either weren't wearing the new clothes they got for Christmas or didn't receive any new clothes before Christmas Eve, and apparently he wasn't a nice cat. So you can't say that that
No,
was
sir.
true or bad.
I once again I stay in my lane. I can tell you all the Santa Claus things, but everything else I let you find out if it's a rumor or not. Then you can ask them. I
I
don't
know
want to
that's
make
right.
any mistakes. I don't want to get pulled into court. So for
Oh, you
legal
asked about the
reasons.
elves in the song. I forgot the elves do have a song, but it's not been turned into a song. So as I was looking up some of this stuff, they did say that there was a it was actually it got you in the title, but it's a poem that was written way back in 1823. So we're talking more than 200 years old and everything. But it's called "A Visit from Saint Nicholas" by the American writer uh, Clement Clark Moore. It's the one that begins, "'Twas the night before Christmas," and in the poem it says of Saint Nick, he was chubby and plump, a right jolly old elf. This might be the first time Father Christmas and elves were linked, but it did catch on. So they're saying that you are an elf. And I'm going like, he doesn't look like an elf. Elves are small. So what's this notion about you being an elf? And what did you think about this particular song? Because definitely even Dudley Moore and Will Ferrell and definitely others have made a whole notion of this whole song and everything like that. So what did you think about this notion of "'Twas the Night Before Christmas"?
Well, I think that's a rumor that I started out as an elf. It's It's not true. And many times have I seen The Night Before Christmas and the song and reading the book. It just a thing that I do. I don't know.
You say you don't know and everything like that. What's some of the other myths that are out there? Because I know a lot of people, when they think about Christmas, they always want to think about Virginia Woolf, who apparently, Virginia, who apparently did not believe in Santa until she got the letter that confirmed that it was actually a real thing and it wasn't a fiction and everything along those lines. So, what is your take on the story about Virginia and this notion of this woman who did not believe in Santa Claus or believe in the notion of a Santa Claus?
Ho 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 ha ha ha. I don't think about it. It's just too much to think of. I have so much on my plate, Mr. Mark.
I
But Mr.
understand.
Mark, I got to get out of this suit. Time for
Oh
me to
well, you gotta get
relax.
y'all gotta get ready for the New Year's Eve celebration and everything like that. So I just wanted to know your couple of quick questions, and then we'll get out of here in about 5 minutes, if not less, and everything like that. So we're definitely getting ready to wrap it up and all along those lines. But what is something that you want people to know, and what is your wishes for 2026? And just before you get to that, what are some of the other, because we covered some of them, myths that you wish people would not have about Santa Claus and everything like that?
Um, well, one of the myths about Santa Claus being fat. We don't have to be fat, but I am jolly.
Okay.
Um, and my hopes for 2026 would be just to treat each other kindly and be our brother's keeper and always put God first.
That's a good wish and everything like that. Now I know your employer Stafford has looked at my beard. He probably has looked at my dad's beard, but dad's not overly religious and everything. And I know that there are a variety of Santas out there. So is there like a? We talked about the union. Is there a Santa union? And should I be looking at possibly getting a call as I get older to be joining the Santa union? And how many Santas are there? Because I mean, I'm thinking you're the main Santa that's up there in the North Pole, but I've also I interviewed another Santa, and I've seen Santas that have been white, black. I heard there was even an Asian Santa out there somewhere, and everything like that. So, how many Santas are there, and how do you deal with all these various Santas? And how do y'all have like a contest? I remember the old game show. There would be like I think it was To Tell the Truth, where you had to guess which was the real one and everything like that. So, how do y'all deal with that? And do y'all ever play the To Tell the Truth game among the various Santas?
Well, we what we are, and I usually tell this to children. We are Santa's helpers.
Okay.
Santa's have to. Santa Claus has to be in so many places and so many in such a short amount of time, and he needs help. And yes, that beard gets a little bit more grayer. You can join us.
I can join you as a Santa's helper and everything like that. I don't know, but I haven't seen that many Santas that's got the receding hairline, so I might have to go get a wig to go with the Santa outfit and everything like that, or put on the hat and
Uh,
everything.
it's receding all the way back. There ain't none.
Hey, no, okay, so it can work. It can work and everything like that. Well, I hope you and your Miss Claus have a great, successful New Year's and everything like that. Are we going to get some good gifts in the world in 2026? Are we finally going to get that notion of peace on earth? I've been wanting that for years. I used to love that song and still love that song. Imagine a world without, and it says some other things
Yes.
that people don't like, which is like the world without religion, which I know a lot of people don't like that line, but I do like the line about a world with peace and everything like that.
Amen. Man, a world with peace would be nice. Very nice.
So is it going to happen in 2026? Are we going to get a world with peace? Are we
I
going
I don't predict. I just get my letters and check my list twice and make my moves around. I would hope that we would.
I hope so too, and everything like that. So you got. Oh, did Miss Claus? And this is the last question. Did Miss Claus give you everything you wanted for Christmas? And are you satisfied with your Christmas haul this year, or are you waiting for some late gifts? I did have some friends that told me that they might not get their Christmas gift till later because they had to wait for some money to come in or some money to arrive till they could finish their Christmas shopping. So I know everybody likes to get their Christmas gifts on Christmas Eve, but I know some people that have gotten Christmas gifts as late as middle of January and everything like that based on what's going on in their life and their own finances. So at what time do we think that we just have to give up and call it a Valentine's gift?
I would say end of January.
Okay.
End of January. If you didn't get it then, yeah, then you move on to a Valentine's Day gift.
So if you didn't get it by then, it's a Valentine's Day gift and everything like that. I know I said that was the last question. I promise this is, what time should people take their Christmas trees down? Because like I said before, some people might keep that stuff up till July, which is my birthday.
Doesn't matter to me. They can keep it up all year long.
So they can keep it up all year long.
If they can, Matter of fact, I knew someone that kept their Christmas tree up for a whole year. His wife passed away, and he just didn't want to take it down.
Wow, that's sad. He's like, I cannot take it down because it means too much to me.
But if that brought him joy, hey, who am I to say he shouldn't?
I know that's right and everything like that. Well, I'm going to close this out and everything. I'm going to play this other game show that is maybe I'll get it on the network eventually, but it is actually part of a cruise, and I think you would probably win it because I know you're religious and you're also Santa Claus and everything. But a guy that I know named Mario Steele, he does this contest which is basically called Bible or Babble, where he asks people, well, he'll give them a quote and then they have to guess whether it's actually from the Bible or whether it's from a worldly source and all along those lines. I think he's been doing that for a number of years and had successful with this quiz and everything.
When does that come? When will you be doing that?
Well, he's been doing it on the cruise now for a couple of years. I got to reach out to Mario and see if he's going to be willing to bring it to the network and everything like that, because I think that could be a good show for the network. But that would be an interesting contest. And we
it sure sounds like it.
Yeah. You give them a verse and be like, is this actually from the Bible or is this something that came out of the Grinch? Well, this has been fun as it always is and everything. I'm glad we were able to arrange it while you were there working and all along those lines. And we'll definitely get ready to start a new season. So who knows? Maybe I'll see Santa as he comes down from the North Pole at one of our concerts, because I know the first one is going to be at the latter part of this month, the latter part of January, and that's going to feature Brandy Younger, and we're going to have Branford in February, Branford Marcellus, and we've also got some other artists, including some speakers in like Taisha Coates and Melissa Harris Perry, the journalist, and a number of others. So we got a full season for 2026 at the Hayti Heritage Center, and they can go check that out at hayti.org. But I'll be there helping with that organization and helping with that season. And of course, we got the film festival in February. I was talking to Tyra, and we did our holiday gathering. It's just me, her, and one of our other people, Angel Dozier. And we don't think that there's any Christmas films.
Brother Mark, I got to get out of this suit. I am
get out of the suit. I'm ready to play Mario Steele, and we want you to get out and all along those lines. So I'm ready to play Mario Steele. But this has been fun, and let's get on out of here. And you get home and get safe and have a wonderful new year and get ready to celebrate a wonderful 2026. But check out this particular event that goes on that'll hopefully possibly be coming to the network. But check this out and have a great one.
All right. Thank you.
It's time for Bible or Babble. Gather around.
I cut you off before you said Happy Merry Christmas.
All right. Thank you.
Yep.
It's time for Bible or Babble. Gather around for your new favorite show. If you little work, show 'em what you know. Let's go.